right, y'all. What up, everybody? Welcome to TTESPN. I'm Vita Van Pelt with Soy Sauce here today. If you clicked, welcome. It's time to talk about the NFC South. We'll be going to me and Deuce's hood, Tento's hood, y'all. I am excited. We are now officially halfway done with division talks, and we're on the back half of it. If you're watching this right now, that means the North and both the East drop. So it's time to get ready to deal with the South and the West. In the words of Andre 3000, the South got something to say. So we here ready to go. Let's go. All right, before we get started, Deuce, how you doing today, sir?
So good, man. So good. So good. Talk to them is always an exciting time when we get into the hoods of the
No.
people in TTE, because then now you get a real look at everyone's specific team. And everybody got the little bit of insights. They follow those little pages where they know just a little bit more than everybody else.
Yep.
That's what I'm excited for, man. I'm excited to see what the Panther Nation is. Do y'all call yourself Panther Nation?
Yeah, they do.
Panther
They do.
Nation. I'm excited to see what
Yeah.
Panther Nation got.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Ready to get in here. Ready to get in here and get going. So if you're rocking with us today, I'm gonna be very honest. For those of y'all who have, I'm not you. We aren't. We do this for fun and we do this for the love. But every division video so far has hit 100 views. So for those of y'all watching and rocking, just want to say thank y'all because clearly y'all moving from video to video. So all your comments are welcome. Do the YouTube thing, sub, like, all comments are welcome, y'all. We're just here to have a good time. We don't do it for views, but we notice them like, hey man, some people are kind of watching and checking out, man. So for those of y'all rocking with us, we appreciate it, man. Don't forget, man, when we come to your hood and we talk about it, throw your hood up, man. Throw your hood up and let's get ready to go. So again, the AFC North and the NFC North are done. The AFC East and the NFC East are done. We are now heading to the NFC South, to where many people are statingly called the weakest division in football. So I am excited to get here and to talk about it. I'm ready to dig into what we think about these teams. A Tom Brady-less division now. You got a couple coaching changes on my end. It's a lot going on in the South. We're far from the days of where it used to be Matt Ryan, Drew Brees, Cam, to now Tom, to now we're going. Every team is headed into a new direction, a new era. So there is plenty of runway for a team to still a division win or two, or set themselves up to have a grip on the division here, man. So we're gonna be starting with, we always go worst to first. And technically, y'all, I don't do it. I go off of what we go off of whatever they put on there. Three teams in the NFC South last year finished 7-10. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who won the division, were 8-9. So I just look at their list and it has Falcons at the bottom. So we start worst to first so that we don't have to argue about that. That's just a clear line we do on each one. So the first team we'll be talking about today is the Atlanta Falcons. Big free
The
agency
worst
move.
team, the worst team in the NFC. He ain't gonna say
Yeah.
I say it. The worst team in the NFC South last year.
So the Atlanta Falcons, big money spenders in the offseason this year. They got a income tax check and a stimmy, and they showed it off. And they definitely showed it off. So I go
Man,
to let you kick it off, Uz. What are your thoughts on the Atlanta Falcons, man, and their offseason moves this year?
I'm a little shook. Like every time I got a ping on my phone on ESPN, first thing I did was screenshot it, sent it to the chat because I wanted to see Vita's response, and it was all on the defensive side. I'm gonna go right over there, like Calais Campbell, Jesse Bates, Jeff Okuda, like Bud Dupree, like they went off in the offseason.
Yeah.
And we talked about this multiple times, right? When was the last time we saw a team spend this much money on the defensive side of things and have it pan out and have it be extremely successful?
Yeah.
Because for these dudes swinging for the fence, right? We talk about Jesse Bates and we talk about the safety position not being probably being the most expendable position on the field, right? They took a big swing at Jesse Bates, which broke that just blew my mind. I was like, wow.
Yeah.
An older Calais Campbell, it is what it is. They shored up some things by making that trade for Jeff Okuda. They traded a bag of chips for him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Still. And
Yeah.
we know Jeff Okuda ain't been 100% healthy since he got drafted. He's been, inconsistent, but when he's making big plays, he's making big plays. So, lot of ability, a lot of the roof, the ceiling, this is not the roof. The ceiling is extremely high on this defense. But
Yeah,
again, I'm gonna go with what history tells me, and it's when you spend a lot of money, you're not gonna get that great of a return.
yeah,
But the one thing I do want to talk about is this offensive running game. I think they have sneakily the best running game. Potentially. Let me not put that stamp on there. They have potentially the best running game in the NFL. Yeah, Tyler Algier,
yeah,
Bijan Robinson out the draft. They still got Cordell Patterson, who, after
yeah,
all those hits from James Harrison throughout the early part of his career, is still out here killing it. Desmond Ritter, it is what it is. I don't fully trust in their wide receiver core or the quarterback.
yeah,
And then Kyle Pitts. We said this for the last 2 years. The man is not a top 10 tight end. Maybe,
yeah,
maybe back half of like the 7 to 10. But he's not that top 3, top 5 tight end that everybody's trying to make him out to be these last 2 years. So I think they're just gonna continue to be where they are. But that's the
yeah.
end of my spiel for the Atlanta Falcons, man. We in your hood. Let's see what you got.
So the Falcons for me, I'm with you. We don't ever see a team spend big on the defensive side of the football and then they pan out. I'm on the opposite of you. I don't think it's a ceiling raiser. I just think it's a floor raiser. I think they're just like, okay, at least we know we shouldn't be absolutely horrible on that side of the ball. But you essentially paid for 6 starters on defense, like you said. Campbell, Anyamata, Ellis, Dupree, Bates, and then you traded for Jeff Okuda. Now, I think Okuda, I was very high on him coming out of college. I think he has, in a situation like this, on the opposite of AJ Terrell and Jesse Bates, he should be able to find a role and fit in. So that's a good move. I really like Richie Grant coming out. I really like Troy Anderson coming out. But then the rest of the guys, I'm like, okay, these guys are just floor raisers to me. They make sure that you just can't be a bad defense.
Yeah,
And then from there, like you just kind of have to ask yourself, like, yo, is there a guy who breaks out? Is there a guy who can kind of take the reins and step up? I know people like Grady Jarrett, but like, yeah, I was really high on Richie Grant and Troy Anderson. So maybe we'll see if that and a change of scenery for Okuda can help kind of raise this level of what I thought he would be coming into it. But I think they spent a lot of money in places that like I just again, you have to spend the bread. You have to like you can't hold on to it. But I definitely think there might have been a couple of things that they could have done. But I do think adding Bijan Robinson was the best thing that they really could have done. I know
yeah,
people was like, "Oh, you could have took Jalen Carter, you could have took something else," and I was like, "Nah." I think for the type of coach you have, the type of O line you have, and a quarterback, having a Bijan Robinson around is going to help you out a lot. Um, I'm still kind of looking at, like we said, we people elevated Kyle Pitts so high, like they do with everybody else. They just get so horny that they don't tend to give these guys times. They don't tend to give these guys like the change in situation. Like you're going from Matt Ryan to Marcus Mariota to now Desmond Ritter. And he was like, well, if we like, I think he's still trying to figure out how to use Kyle to the best of his abilities. Drake, I told you, I felt like Drake London was the worst pick they could have made at the receiver position in that draft because
yep.
I felt like the 4 and 5 guys that went after him were better than him. I just
And
feel
they're
like he
proving
shouldn't
that.
have
They're
been,
proving that to this
yeah,
day.
and he shouldn't have been the first receiver off the board. I told you, I loved it because of that fact. I still don't like, I think he is who he is, but I think the other guys who went after are clearly better than him. So I think that might be a holdback in what this could be too. O line has a stability. It's kind of like a staple what I see from Arthur Smith. So, like you said, I'm with you. The run game does have the ability to be deadly, to be dangerous. And we just have to be ready to question who and what Desmond Ritter will be this year.
Right.
Because I think it's easy to say, but I can see it too. Like he just kind of shows me traces of what we seen Ryan Tannehill do when he was with them with Tennessee.
Man,
So I feel
Ryan
like,
Tannehill.
yeah. So I'm definitely looking at, and I will state this now, and will be said about any team. I think any team in the NFC South could win it. I also think any team in the NFC South could be absolutely horrible next year. So, like I think there is a real window for every team to find a way to sneak themselves into some extra dubs and steal the division. But I also think you can look at a team and be like, you know what, this team really just isn't that good yet. So If they're the Saints keep having to, we'll get to them, but like I feel like Atlanta did the opposite. The Saints keep having to shed people because they ain't got money. The Falcons was like, we got all the money. Who wants to come over here?
We got all of them. We'll take it.
Yeah, we
Who
got
y'all
all the
cutting?
money.
Who y'all
Come over
cutting
here.
next? Let us know
Yeah, come
first, just in case.
come kick it with us. So I on the defensive end, so let me throw this out there. Troy Anderson is somebody who said I have my eye on. I really liked him coming out. Jesse Bates, I told you he's dope. I still think he's gonna be dope. I don't think he's gonna be Jesse Bates productive like he was in Cincinnati. Is that a thing to say?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think one thing that stands out for this defense, I think you said this before, and I think you articulated it a lot better than I could, is their floor raisers. I don't look at this defense and see a game changer, right? I see a really good middle or linebacker in Bud Dupree. I see a really good AJ Terrell who had the hell of a last couple of seasons. I see
Yeah.
a really good flashes of brilliance from Jeff Okuda, but I don't see anybody that I look at and I'm like, you're good. You're going to be the game breaker, right? We got an
Yeah.
older Grady Jarrett. We got a much older Calais Campbell, Onyemata. Like, there's no one that I look at where I'm just like. And then
And,
the
yeah.
comparison is I look at the Miami Dolphins. You signed Jalen Ramsey. You signed a
Yeah.
game changer
Yeah.
because you have Xavier Howard on the other side. I don't see that with this group.
Yeah. So and usually when I look here, when we look, like we're like, okay, you got depth, you got, veteran stability, what it should be. But I'm even looking down the line, I'm like, dang, but y'all really don't have nothing on the defensive end that, like said, outside of Troy Anderson and Richie Grant, I'm just kind of like, it may be the hope of what I thought Okuda could be. I don't want him to become that in Atlanta. You're kind of like, yeah, this is just kind of just a regular defense.
Yeah.
Almost at the end of the day, like I wouldn't be shocked if they, just found themselves towards the middle of the pack. But it'd be very difficult for me to be like, do I think a AJ Terrell top tier year is what boosts this defense to the top? But I think it's a lot of floor raising. I think a lot of what they did this offseason is a lot of floor raising and just saying, hey, we're just gonna make sure we cover our grounds around a lot of these places, and then put the emphasis on coaching and what Desmond Ritter can be and what we got going on here. So with that being said, I think for me, the key people, the key players that I will have my eye on is Desmond Ritter and Bijan Robinson. Bijan, I know you are a talented running back. You are highly drafted. I think the capital is worth it where they taking you. And because you're that high, because of this generational talent that you are, and the expectations that come with it, you are required to produce.
Yep.
So now again, I told you I don't think the problem with drafting a rookie high is I think it comes time when you pay him. So as long as you produce to the people who were there before of your stature, the pick is justified. Now when it comes time to write that check, we'll figure it out. Desmond Ritter, Taylor Heineke is there. There's a chance that he might get 4 or 5, 6 games out of the Falcons this year. Um, I don't really know what I want to see from him. I don't know what I expect to see from him. But I'm also like, you do have a good running back, a tight end who really should, and he has all the generational traits. Jonnu Smith's coming over. So I think I am expecting a Desmond Ritter can't be a bottom 10 quarterback this year. I think if he is, then Atlanta's in some big problems. And then number 3 for me is Jeff Okuda. He's the guy who got traded for, like you said, bag of chips. There's a lot of capabilities that could be unleashed there. You're in a new scenery, bro, and this really might be your last shot to kind of put something together. So if you're able to shore up something opposite of Terrell, Atlanta might throw you a bag too, and then what I'm saying, this defense will look a lot different. So yeah, for me it's Ritter, Bijan, and Okuda.
I think I'm right there with you with Ritter and Bijan. I think you said it perfectly. I think as far as expectations for Ritter for me is, I don't think a lot of people are talking about this, but unless you're fans of this division, right? There's 3 other really solid defenses in this division, right? Tampa ain't got what they usually have with Tom Brady being gone, but that defense is still what it is, right? New Orleans somehow always has a really solid defense. And then the Panthers got a hell of a defense, right? So as far as what I'm looking for from Ritter is, tell me why Taylor Heineke should not have your job.
Yeah.
That's what I like. Like you said, he shouldn't be a top 10 quarterback. I want to see him real close to that line once we go back and we're going to end up doing our quarterback power tower like we did last year. But whenever we do that, Desmond Ridder at the end of the year should be somewhere by the line. We talked about
Yeah.
Kirk Cousins being the line, Tua possibly being the line going forward. He should be within 2 to 3 spots from that line. Only thing that's different with my third player outside of Ridder and Bijan is just Pitts. It's all gonna be on the offensive end. Kyle Pitts, what are you doing, bro? Show us something. You know, hopefully you've had 2 years under this offense. You've had 2 years to figure it out. You got a full offseason with Desmond Ridder. What kind of chemistry do you have? They should have by now figured out some sort of game plan or package for you to be able to best utilize you. Let's see how
Yep.
you produce.
Yep. Right. So I'm just kind of looking at Desmond Ritter's game logs for the last 4 games. 26 attempts, 33 attempts, 26 attempts, 30 attempts. He only completed over 20 passes one time. And
Damn.
that was in yeah. He had 22 of 23 against Baltimore. And he didn't throw a touchdown until the very last game against Tampa where he had 2. So I said, I'm just being fair. I give him the same treatment I give Deshaun Watson. You came in towards the back end of the year and you got your time in. So I'm expecting that you take that last little bit of the season that you ended with, you take it as a trend into next year. And we should definitely see, because you have been prioritized all offseason, we should definitely see what you look like early. So let's get to the schedule, Lou. See if we can find us a ceiling and floor for the Atlanta Falcons here, man. Let me get
Yes,
over.
sir.
I can tell you, I can already tell you, I already know from their schedule they're starting 0-1.
I agree with that. Normally, I'm just over here talking smack like this is your
No,
team. So,
they're on one. Oos, I'm almost so confident they're starting on one. I'm ready to put money on that we blow them out by 14. Yeah, I'm not even playing. I told Deuce. Deuce was like, I don't know, bro. Nah, bro, you a weenie. Anyway, on one. On one, we're gonna go into Atlanta.
0-2.
0-2 versus Green Bay at Detroit. Where's the first win? Because I know you're not giving them Jacksonville.
Hell nah, I sure ain't.
When's the
Houston?
first win? Can they
Houston
beat
at home?
Detroit? Are you taking them over Detroit?
I'm not taking them. I'm giving Detroit that. In Detroit too.
Is there any 50-50s in these first 4 games? Or you just like, nah, I don't think y'all gonna win?
Nah, I just don't think they're gonna win.
So you got Houston?
Because although they do have a hell of a running game, I think they're gonna get behind it by a touchdown, by maybe even 10 points in one of these games, especially in Jacksonville. They're gonna get behind 10 points, maybe 2 touchdowns, and be like, all right, well, the running game is out.
Got you. All right, so right now they're 0-4. They get the Texans. 1 Washington.
Um,
That's
I
at home
don't
versus
know.
Washington.
Oh
I give
yeah,
them back to
I'll
back
give
at
I'll give
home.
them the dub. Yeah, I'll give them the dub there
Tampa,
against Baker Mayfield in that defense.
week 7. It's week 7. We don't know if Baker's still around. We don't know if Baker's still around at week 7.
Who's the backup over there?
Kyle Trask.
Kyle Trask. I don't like either one of these.
I'll give them a Tampa split.
Yeah, I'll give them a Tampa split. They're gonna lose the first one in Tampa, but that Tampa defense is still something that I could
Before the
depend
bye
on.
week, you got Tennessee, Minnesota, and Arizona.
Loss, win.
All right, I could go with that. So far they got 1, 2, 3 wins at the bye week.
3 wins at the bye. Takes us into New Orleans, New York, Tampa.
Oh, you got them splitting with New Orleans, or you got them getting swept?
No, I got them getting swept.
I got them splitting.
Splitting? Okay, we'll go with the split. New York, they're losing. Tampa Bay, I had them getting swept by Tampa, but you got them split, Tampa?
Yeah, but that'll be close to the ceiling, so we'll just take that.
Okay, we'll split.
Then they'll be at Carolina week 15. That's to be determined. You at Carolina. If I ain't giving you week 1, I ain't giving you week 15.
Yeah, I got them losing. I got them losing against Carolina.
Colts week 16.
I think by that time we see AR. I think they lose.
Chicago. At Chicago.
I think this is one of those we gave Chicago.
Yeah. And then at New Orleans. split. So what's that? 3, 4,
Five wins,
5, 6, 6 floor,
six
5
floor.
floor, 5
Yeah,
floor, 5 floor,
five floor, 5 and 12 floor, seven
7 ceiling.
seven ceiling, and that's because we're going and they're gonna end up splitting Carolina maybe. They'll maybe split
So
Tampa.
is there any thought in your mind? We got them 0-4 the first 4 weeks, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is there any thought in your mind of like, oh, they could be 2-2,
No,
1-3?
no. Because
You don't got
with your confidence with them blowing out,
no, no,
with
no.
getting
Yeah,
blown out
yeah.
week one, cool.
I'm so sure. Like I got brooms for Atlanta this year.
Yeah,
I really do. Yeah,
with
I got brooms last
with
year.
that
Yeah,
being what that
last year.
is, I'm just gonna leave that as is. So really, it's just a 3-game slate, right? Green Bay, I think they're gonna have Jordan Love at least ready for the first 4 games. He's gonna be extremely ready for the first 4 games. Everything after that, now you got 4 games of film on Jordan Love. I think he runs through Atlanta. Detroit, I think just continues the momentum from last year, right? I think Detroit just finds a way to beat him. Jacksonville, man, that's the
But
Princess
it's for me.
Promise.
For me, like I could see a Detroit win only because like this is a non-Jameson Williams Detroit, and this is an Atlanta team with a run game that we're expecting to have. So like I do think, and I go off for this. Last year, Carolina got Detroit off that run game. We killed them on the run game. And so I'm like, I've said, I don't think it's 50-50. I don't think it's 50-50, but I do think I'm like, yo, if we come back, you know what I'm saying, and they beat Detroit, I wouldn't be shocked. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wouldn't be shocked, but
Yeah, I mean that could be one of the games in their ceiling or in their ceiling with the 7, but I don't know, man. I just think
is Atlanta,
one of the ceiling games is like Tennessee, Minnesota likes to choke up those kinds of games.
is, is Atlanta a 10-win team?
No, nah,
Is a 5-win season getting Arthur Smith fired?
no,
All right.
I don't think so.
5-win floor, 7-win ceiling. Atlanta Falcons are not a 10-win team, but if the Atlanta Falcons are to win the division, because again, this is the NFC South, and we know anybody could win it.
Yep.
If the Atlanta Falcons are to win the NFC South, got past the council, we gave you 5 and 7. If we come back and be like, damn, Atlanta turned into a 10-win team, what is the storyline of a 10-win Atlanta Falcon team that wins the NFC South?
They won those trap games. They won those trap games, and not necessarily
So
trap games for themselves, but
they
like
still a Jacksonville in London.
yeah, they still a Jacksonville. They still a Minnesota. They find a way to upset. I don't know. They find a way to
Indy.
upset New York, the Jets. Because I mean, we know the Jets got a hell of a secondary. We know that. We don't know nothing about their run defense.
Yep.
So I mean, I'm looking at Minnesota. I'm looking at New York. I'm looking at Tennessee. We know Ryan Tannehill is Ryan Tannehill.
Yeah.
But I think those are probably the 3 games I'm really looking at. With it being Tennessee, New York, and Jacksonville, and then Minnesota being the 4th.
All right. Sounds good. Sounds good. Any final thoughts on the Atlanta Falcons?
They're gonna quietly suck this year into like the 3rd or 4th pick next year.
Probably wouldn't be too bad because then they'd be right up there. Somebody's going to end up finding their way right up there into the outside of Caleb sweepstakes.
Yeah, they're gonna quietly suck this year. The reason I say Arthur Smith ain't gonna get fired just because I think when you have the ability to draft that running back, they're gonna give you at least 2 years with him.
Yeah. All right. That'll end it here for the Atlanta Falcons. Time to head on down to New Orleans and talk about the Nolans Saints, baby. The Nolans Saints.
Boo.
I am
Ooh.
also 7-10, newly acquired quarterback Derek Carr. That's why Pollard didn't show up today because Soy
He's
already knows he's not
he's
allowed to say
buns.
anything. Yeah, he's not allowed to say anything good about Derek Carr because for 3 years I've been telling them he's a good quarterback, and all they have made their way to say is he's buns and he's trash. So now that he's at New Orleans for 3 years, they told me he's buns and he's trash. So in New Orleans, this man still better be buns and trash. So I'm willing to take that, man. Dennis Allen, second year head coach Sean Payton is officially gone. He's out the building for real now. He's on his way to Denver, which we'll be talking about in like 2 episodes from now. Didn't realize we're in the South, so we'll be talking about the rookie quarterbacks at the top of the draft. Bryce this episode, the other three next episode. You pick up Derek Carr, trash. Not for me.
Buns.
Yeah, yeah. You pick up
Still
Derek
agree.
Carr. You're still playing the cap game, which has shown you over the last couple years. This is what happens when you slowly pay off that credit card, y'all. Listen, I'm a living example of it. So are the New Orleans Saints. When you only make that minimum payment, down the line, you keep finding yourself losing something. You know what I'm saying, y'all? And the Saints, over the last couple years, have lost people like Gardner Johnson, Onyemata, who else? Shy Tuttle.
They
Who
about
else?
to lose
Yeah,
Camaro.
about to lose Kamara. You are slowly, when the longer you keep playing this cap game and rolling and kicking this can down the road, the slower you are seeing people who were very important to your team at its peak have to move on because you just can't financially keep them around. The saving grace has been New Orleans has done a fairly good job of drafting and replacement. I think they did that in them couple years better than they've done it in the back part of the couple years. I told you I thought Chris Olave was a dope wide receiver to take, but I don't think giving up that extra first to move to get him was the move to make because then, say they could have had that, to move for a quarterback. I don't think giving up a first for a wide receiver is the move, but for a quarterback, I can understand it. But Olave's dope. So with Derek Carr coming over, second year Dennis Allen, man, just seeming to constantly kick this can down the road, man. What are your thoughts, Zeus, on the New Orleans Saints in their offseason moves so far?
Derek Carr is still buns. Still buns. Hey, and the only reason I say that is because when he's the best quarterback in your division now, and he's still buns, that probably puts the stamp on this division being the worst division in football. But no, man, hey, he's in a better position, in a better division. That's probably as good as it's gonna get that I have to say about Derek Carr. Aside from that, man, like we talked about earlier, the Saints find a way to have a good defense. They just find a way to do it every single year. Olave is a dope wide receiver. Michael Thomas supposedly supposed to be back. We'll see. There's not really that stands out. Not really much that stands out to me for this team, especially with Alvin Kamara being a big question mark. Not knowing whether or not he's going to be there next year. They did pick up Jamal Williams.
Yeah,
That's TTE's favorite running back, y'all. Jamal
yeah.
Williams.
The Shinobi.
Yeah. The Shinobi Saint right now. But there's not really a lot to me that stands out about this team. Yeah. There's nothing that excites me about this team at all.
All right, so when I look at the Saints, I do look at Derek Carr coming over. Um, when we say the Saints continue to have a good defense, I do think a big part of that is due to Dennis Allen as coach. I do think dude is just a great game planner and he knows how to get his people in good positions. Um, like at least they know what the heart of their team is because yes, they lose a lot of pieces around, but they're not giving up a Cam Jordan, they're not giving up a Demario Davis, they're not giving up a Marshawn Lattimore. So you found who your main pieces are, and you tried to work around that. Marcus May, Honey Badger, Paulson Adebo, somebody I really really like, Bradley Rober, Alante Taylor. Like they just always seem to find a way with this secondary to make it work. Pete Warner, like the dude, dope. After that, I do think the D line is kind of honestly probably like the I'm gonna say the I I feared the Saints D line before. I do not fear this D line going into next year. Um, Derek Carr is coming over, is an upgrade from Jameis Winston. Olave, we don't know what we're getting from Michael Thomas. Rashid Shaheed, nice. A.T. Perry, somebody with potential that I like to see around. Jawan Johnson too. But then this O-line, I think like for the first time, to me, their O-line and D-line seems to for real be getting a little suspect to me, and that might be what could be the downfall for this team this year. Is like I felt like Sean's game planning and stuff helped him out.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like Dennis Allen's game planning helps them out defensively. But I think when it comes to the line of scrimmage, that's why I think I see the weakness with this team. Is I'm like, oh, I think this is where y'all could, see some regression at this year. So that's what are your expectations then for Derek Carr? A new situation, new coaching, new division. Right now, you do stand as the best quarterback in the division. Last year, you were 3,500 yards, 24 TDs, 14 INTs. But the point was brought up. These were the exact same numbers that Andy Dalton had with them last year. So let me make sure, because I seen that brought up and I said, let me make sure that Derek Carr and Andy Dalton's numbers were really the same as they were last year. I really do think that it was really close. And he had Devontae Adams. So Andy last year, it wasn't close. Andy had
Nah, yeah, it
2,800,
wasn't close.
18 TDs, and 9 picks.
14 games. Derek Carr only played
14
15. So one game difference, about 1,000, almost 1,000 yards. What, 700-yard difference? I don't know, man.
So
I don't see anything different from Derek Carr this year. If Michael Thomas is healthy, if Michael Thomas is playing, he has Michael Thomas, right? You still have Chris Olave who can blow the top off of things.
the top off your board. Let me
That's
ask you this then, News, because this is where we're at with Derek Carr. And I'm with you. New scenario, new team, new all of that.
Mhm.
So let's run through let's play a game. Let's play a game. Let's play a game today, because now, like you said, now you're away from the AFC with all the quarterback powerhouses. We had a big argument on that last year. So let's play a game. Can I think of a clever name for this? All right. I can't think of a clever name, but we'll figure something out. Derek Carr and we're going to walk through every quarterback in the NFC.
Oh,
Every quarterback in the NFC. I'm gonna ask, and you tell me, hell nah, you ain't gotta say hell yeah, hell nah, or okay. So we'll
as
just
in
walk through the list.
okay, as in Derek Carr over them.
Yeah,
Okay,
okay.
okay.
Yeah. Dak Prescott,
Hell no.
Danny Dimes,
Hell no.
Jalen Hurts,
Hell no.
Sam Howell,
Okay.
Justin Fields. Oh, hold up. One in the NFC East right now, right?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Justin Fields,
Okay.
Jared Goff,
Hell no.
Jordan Love,
Okay.
Kirk Cousins,
Hell no.
Desmond Ridder,
Okay.
Bryce Young,
Hell no.
and then Tampa Bay. Just gonna say Tampa Bay.
Okay. Okay.
Are you gonna take 10 games of Kyler Murray?
Yeah, I'll take
All right.
Kyler Murray. Yeah, give me Kyler Murray.
Matt Stafford,
Hell no.
Geno Smith,
Hell no.
and as of right now, we'll go Brock Purdy.
Hell no.
So right now, you only have him over. You picked him only 5-6 people
Fields.
over Derek. You picked Sam Howell. You took Derek Carr over Sam Howell,
Mm-hmm.
Jordan Love, Desmond Ridder, Tampa Bay. Who else did we say? Jared Goff, right?
Nah. I didn't pick him over Jared.
That's 4?
Yeah, it was only 4.
Oh wow! So you only took Derek Carr over 4 quarterbacks in the NFC, 2 in the division. So you took Purdy, Stafford, Kyler, and Geno over him, right?
Mm-hmm.
The whole NFC West.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody in the NFC East except Sam Howell.
Mm-hmm.
Jordan Love, Oh wow, this might not be as good as we think, y'all. This might not be as good as we think. All right, that was a big issue we had last time. We thought he was coming to the NFC and it'd be a little better, and right now you only picked 5 quarterbacks over him. Ooh, that's bad because they're committed if that's
Sorry,
the
Derek.
case.
Sorry, Derek.
All right, let's get through this then. Let's get through this then. Key players for the New Orleans Saints this year. Trevor Penning is one for me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna just say, yeah, definitely Trevor Penning is one for me.
Left tackle.
Derek Carr is another one for me because even after doing that, it just shows the importance of the move that was made for him to come over. They got a contract for him. I know it's hefty, I believe, but I think after 2 years they could get out, but they'll get right back into that Saints kicking the can down the road game. So if Derek Carr isn't a top 5 quarterback in the division, which I think he really should be, and I definitely think there's a problem for New Orleans when we look at it. So Derek Carr, Trevor Penning, I'm not gonna lie to you, my man Chris Olave, man.
Mm-hmm.
Chris Olave, I think he's dope. I think there's potential for him
Mm-hmm.
with Derek Carr to have like an extremely productive season. That's why I'm not even worried about Michael Thomas when he comes back because I think it is on the like it could really be on the shoulders of Olave, man, to really kind of have the opportunity to take it to another level here. And I think that he has that in his bag to do that. So Derek Carr, Chris Olave, Trevor Penning, man, those are my key players for New Orleans Saints going into next year. What do you got as your key players, Zeus?
I'm right there with you. Only one that I differ on is instead of Trevor Penning, I'm going on the defensive side. I'm kind of going back and forth between Demario Davis and Marshawn Lattimore. We know what Marshawn Lattimore is capable of. We know that. To me, Demario Davis has to just continue to carry this defense, make the calls that you need to, be the quarterback of this defense, be somebody who brings that consistency with this defense. Like I said, we know what we have them that are capable of, but continue to carry this defense and continue to quarterback them.
Falcons fans, I want to stop and I want to apologize real quick. We talked about the key players and all of this, and then I'm going to ask Soy to do it. If y'all haven't noticed, our thumbnails are all quarterbacks. But I forgot the coolest Thundercat in an Atlanta Falcons jersey that I know, Young Ho Koo.
Hey,
So
man,
I forgot,
that's what I was gonna put on there.
I forgot to give a shout out to my dude, Young Ho Koo. So Young Ho Koo, he's gonna be the thumbnail. He's gonna be
Oh
on the
yeah,
thumbnail.
oh yeah. Because this is one of those divisions where we look and there's not.
Yeah,
We look at the
okay.
quarterbacks and we're like,
Yeah, cool. It's cool. Young Ho. All right, cool. My bad. Hey, Falcons fans, I know we say you 5-7 and stuff, but we forgot to talk about my man Young Ho. All right. Young Ho, cool. Let's get us a floor and a ceiling for the New Orleans Saints, man.
let's
Going into this
get it.
season, man.
Let's pull up the schedule.
They open up week 1 versus Tennessee at home. I will give them a week 1 dub.
Really?
They don't get a week. Yeah. I'm gonna give them a week 1 dub.
Really over Vrabel?
Yeah. I would much rather
I'm okay
lean
with
Tennessee.
that. I'm okay with that.
I'm much. Week 2 L. You coming to Carolina, baby? Week 2 Monday Night Football. You don't get that. You don't get, but you get to smack Jordan Love the following week. You don't get to come to Carolina in week 2. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, they beat. Did we have Green Bay losing that? In
At
Green Bay?
No, I thought we had Green Bay winning because they was at home.
Yeah. I was gonna say Tampa Bay in Tampa.
So I got them sweeping Tampa.
Oh, I'm okay with
Saints,
that.
the Saints, even with Brady, was killing Tampa. Dennis Allen got a thing.
Right.
Well, I tell you. So I'm taking them to clean sweep Tampa. To be for real, I wouldn't be shocked if they swept Atlanta. Like I really wouldn't be. And I would take the bite on getting swept. I would take the bite on the split. We swept them last year, but I definitely think it could be different.
Okay. New England, Mega Mind in Foxborough.
Oh man. That's been kind of tough.
I can't even remember if we gave this one to New England. I think we did because it was at home.
Yeah, I think we did. But it's a 50-50 game, so I think it'll raise the ceiling. I think right now we'll say L, because I think we gave it to Megamon too.
Yeah, but we'll use that as kind of the 50-50 game.
At
Houston,
Houston, Dub.
dub. Jacksonville, L.
Thursday. I think that's a 50-50 game. That's a Thursday
That
night.
could be a 50-50 game. Indy,
I got him beating Indy.
yep,
I got him beating Chicago.
yep. Minnesota,
At Minnesota, I'm gonna give him an L.
Atlanta. You said you got them sweeping Atlanta potentially.
I'll give him the split, but
Split, okay.
I listed, I would, if I had to put $5 on it, I'd rather put 5 on them sweeping Atlanta than I would on them splitting.
Detroit at Detroit.
Home.
Oh, at
That's
home,
no, that's
at
home.
home.
That's home.
That's
And
a,
I like them at home.
I like them at home too. Carolina. You said you was gonna
I'm
bite the split.
yeah.
New York Football Giants at
It's
home.
a good one.
They
It's a
got a
good one.
lot of 50-50 games.
A lot. This is where I think we could say
They could be like 6th floor and like an 11-10 ceiling.
that's what I'm saying. The Saints have an ability to be at the end of the year, be like, damn, they got 11 dubs. And it's because we're looking at a lot of them that I'm like, yo, this could be, you know what I'm saying?
We giving them New York at home.
Yeah, I'm giving them New York at home.
Rams on the road.
Thursday night primetime game, Rams on the road, back end of the season.
L.
I think that's more of a 50-50 game than it might come off as, but I'll say L.
And then Atlanta.
That's at home, so I'll give them a dub.
2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 wins right now.
So I'm cool with a 6 floor, 10 ceiling.
I'm cool with that. 6-11, 10-7 ceiling.
I'm cool with a 6 floor, 10 ceiling.
Damn, they got a lot of 50-50 games.
A lot. They have a lot. They have a lot. So they said you wouldn't shock me if they found their way to 10, 11. You wouldn't shock me if they found their way to 6 or 7.
Damn.
So if you was to ask that and you see this, do you think they're closer to the floor or do you think they're closer to the ceiling?
I think they're right in between, to be honest with you. Like an 8, maybe 9 win team. Like a really good season for them would be like 8 to 9 wins, I think.
Okay, could run with that.
Like I think if you were to go back and you were to ask, some of
1 second.
those fans, if you're going back and you're asking the fans of the Saints, if they had a 8 to 9 win season, that probably puts them in about number 2, maybe number 1. I mean, 9 wins put them in tied number 1 with the Bucks last year. But Saints fans, man, if y'all are watching, correct me if I'm incorrect on this. But if you were to come to me and say, yo, y'all won 9 games with Derek Carr, I personally would be satisfied with that. I mean, I know Saints fans might not be, but
So I know Saints fans wouldn't be. I really don't think they wouldn't be okay with it. But I think any team in this division is truly going into it with the belief that we can win the division. And we'll talk about that too when we get to Tampa and obviously Carolina. So I understand, like you said, there's a lot of 50-50 games. It wouldn't shock me if people like, yo, dang, they caught more of them than they lost them and end up finding their way into a 10-11 win team. But I think that's playing a lot of high-end football. And like you said, with this team, man, I think there is a real boom or bust factor that could happen. You know what I'm saying?
mm-hmm.
When we get to the end of the year, yeah. When we get to the end of the year, give me some numbers on 1 second. Let me double check now before I ask. Pull it up right here. Last year, my man Chris Olave, 72 catches, 119 targets, 1,000 yards, 4 TDs. 72 catches. He played 15 games. Over or under?
Over.
Yards, 1,042. Over or under?
Over.
4 touchdowns. Over or under?
Over.
Over. he looking at a 90 catch season?
He might be looking at like right under 100 catches. Yeah,
Is he over or under 7 touchdowns?
I want to put him under.
Okay. Under?
Yeah.
All right. Whew. All right. And finally, so last year, is Derek Carr throwing for 4,000?
Yes.
Double digit picks?
10. Yeah, 10, 11.
Okay.
All right, I'm gonna say this. This is the year that Derek Carr proves me wrong. At least within this division, right? Derek Carr is gonna come out and throw for 4,400. 4,400. Right? 2 seasons ago, he went for 4,800, damn near 5,000. Last season, 3,500. You know, we kind of know that situation over there. He got his bestie there, and he threw for significantly less. But
Derek Carr has only thrown for over 30 touchdowns one time in his career.
mm-hmm.
Always had the yards, never had the touchdowns.
Mm-hmm.
Do we see a 30 touchdown season from Derek Carr this year?
Nope. We'll see 29 though.
30 is over 30. It has to be the 10-11 win team that we're probably leaning, like we're saying is the ceiling of this team.
Yeah. Oh yeah. If he throws for 30 plus, they're gonna be the number 1 seed in this division. They'll be winning this division. But
all right,
I think he's gonna come up short. 29 touchdowns, about 4,300 yards, 10 picks, and Michael Thomas will be the number 3 receiver.
Very interesting. All right, Oos. Any final thoughts on the New Orleans Saints?
I really hope Derek Carr proves me wrong and shuts me up for calling him a buns quarterback. I really do hope that, for real.
Nah, I'm good on it. I
know you don't want that. I know you don't want that.
I just want him to be I just want him to be the guy that I think he's been this whole time. I think he is a right above the line quarterback in the NFL. I think he's
way below the line.
I think right now he's probably 13 at the highest. I don't think he's nowhere. I think like 18 at the lowest. I think he's in that bunch, but I do think it's position for him to be replaced, but I don't think he's no bottom 10 quarterback in the NFL.
Would you have taken more than 4 quarterbacks over the ones that you named earlier?
So going into next year, I would have took Derek Carr over Daniel Jones. I would have took Derek Carr over Sam Howell. I think over Dak is more debatable than we want to say.
I agree.
Okay, switch him. Derek Carr in Dallas, Dak in the Saints. Does it change our outlook of either team?
No.
See, that's what I'm saying. I think they're closer than they are. I think at the end of the day, they're closer than they are. So that's 2 in the NFC East and the NFC North. Next year, I would take Dak. I would take Derek Carr over. So initially, I've always had him over Jared Goff and Kirk Cousins. And I still think I would have him over. I still even think production-wise, he could probably match what they do next year. So I would actually take him over, be real with you, outside of the potential I see in Fields, I would take Derek Carr over everybody not named Fields in the NFC North.
Damn.
I would. Yeah, because I've always had Derek Carr over Jared Goff and Kirk Cousins. I've always had them.
That's true.
I think that I'm not, and it's not like a clear, but it's like once we get past them elite dudes that we talk about in the top tier, he's always been like, okay, Derek, Kurt, Goff, Gino, and then that's where it's always been for me. So I would just be consistent and be like, I still think overall, but that's also the mindset I go into it too, is like, I think if you switch these guys' teams, in most of them, they don't drop off, or the guy who goes to New Orleans would drop off, and the other team would still at least be the same. In the NFC South, right now, I would take him off of GP just off of principle, but I'm definitely not taking him over Bryce. So like that's just off principle, period. And then and I'm with you, I think every quarterback in the NFC West, I would take over Derek Carr. But I'm also thinking the potential of Trey Lance and what he could be with Kyle Shanahan. I'm not thinking Brock Purdy. I told you where I'm at with Brock. So
I'm taking both of those. I'm taking both of them over him.
Yeah, so I'm definitely taking it in that. I'm looking at it in that fashion. But again, you wouldn't shock me but if he remains this dude who I think he is, and Justin Fields becomes the dude who I think he will, and if Danny Dimes, continues to, if he's just turnover efficient like he was last year, and if Jordan Love plays up to a level, and if Bryce gives us, a rookie of the year, then I will be like, okay, he's starting to really these are the guys who I know we would place under him. We'll be like, okay, Derek, now you are below the line because these guys are on the come up. So that's where I will be at with them. Any final thoughts on the New Orleans Saints?
Nope.
Nope. All right. Time to go to my hood. We are now on our way to the Carolina Panthers, y'all. We are now in my hood with the Carolina Panthers. I'm hyped. I'm ready. I'm excited. This is a Matt Rule free team. Y'all don't understand. I'm so free. I'm so free.
Hey, for
I,
those of y'all that don't understand, go to TTSPN playlist. Go back to last year when the season very started, and then just slowly progress. If y'all want it in a much more digestible sense, go to his TikTok. Hold on, let me go back to the other screen where your TikTok is. Go to his TikTok at the bottom. Scroll back to the early part of the season. You will see everything about this man struggling with Matt Rule. So I'm gonna hand it 100% over to Vita. This is his hood. If anything I think differs from what he gotta say, I'll add my pieces, but floor is his.
oh yeah! I'm ready. I got all my wipes. Do you hear the PD Pablo slapping? I'm ready to go.
You gotta
You
bring
hear
it
the
closer. You
PD
gotta bring it
Pablo?
closer.
Oh, hold up. I got it here. North Carolina. Take your shirt off. Put it right there. Oh my God. Let's go to North Carolina. Let's go. I done asked for my wife's little chinchilla. I'm ready to go. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good. First of all, y'all, we finally got rid of that no good mother sucker that I knew from the moment we hired him. I hate that guy with everything in my soul. But we are to a new day. So I don't know what's happening going forward, but I know we are away from Matt Rule. It's the only dub I need. That is the only dub that I need, is that I know for a fact going into next year, Matt Rule will not be the Carolina Panthers coach. All right. So some things to look at going to the Panthers this year. Catch my breath, y'all. I've been waiting all day to get that out my system. I got my chinchilla on. Let me not disrespect the drip. You gotta do it right for my peoples, man. Yeah, y'all know I'm being here. We in here. All right. Get my stuff going in together. All right, so I want to say this was what we get to officially see as the offseason of Scott Fitterer. Him being able to play the Browns and actually be a GM that he wanted to be. Scott has dropped gems the last 2 years about, yeah, we're trying to draft and develop our quarterback. We're trying to draft and develop. We're trying to draft and develop. Matt Rule wasn't going for that. Thank God he wasn't. You knew on draft night, I was hot. We took J.C. Horn instead of Justin Fields and Pat Surtain. I was hot. But it's a saving grace because now when I look back at the entirety of the Matt Rule era, that man would have not done anything to have any of these quarterbacks look good. I told y'all year one, he had a free walkway to tank for Trevor. He didn't. But if Trevor would have been here with Matt Rule, it would have been no different than when he was with Urban Meyer. So I'm just, yeah. I'm telling y'all now, and I see it with some other teams around the league. You can't out good play bad coaching. You cannot out good play bad coaching. You can have a good roster with good players, but until your coaching staff knows how to put people in the right position and know how to actually coach them and game plan, it does not matter. It does not matter, y'all. I'm telling y'all, I really do think the line in the NFL today is by good coaching. We said it last episode. We said the episode with the Pittsburgh Steelers. You said the only saving grace for this roster to you is Mike Tomlin, and because you know he can coach these guys. The only saving grace for what we see in New England is because of Megamind being there. And we were like, yo, these are some rosters that we just like, okay, you guys are pieces, but it's like, yo, you should really suck, but you have a great head coach. And you have these coaches who do that. So I'm so happy that we're gone from that time. We are 100% away from it. I was never the highest on Frank Reich. When I go back and I look at his tenure with the Colts, who's now the head coach for the Panthers, I look at you took the job when you had Andrew Luck. Your first year, you go to the playoff, Andrew Luck has a good year, you lose in the playoffs. You like, okay, cool, we about to take this staircase to the moon. You know what I'm saying? We love. And then Andrew Luck retires. You know what I'm saying? Then he retires. So then next you're like, you done sold your fan base on, oh, we're not gonna tank to, oh, we got a quarterback and a coach, a promise, and then this man retires. Y'all deserve that, Colts fans. Y'all deserve that. The way y'all treated him going out, y'all deserve that.
And what y'all did to Peyton Manning?
What y'all did to Peyton, y'all deserve that. And I'm almost to the point where y'all don't deserve Anthony Richardson. but when I look at, so then I go back and I look at the next 3 years of Frank. He goes to Jacoby Brissett, Carson Wentz, Matt Ryan gets fired, right? Gets fired. He plays the Eagles the week after he gets fired. Nick Sirianni wins the game, runs up on the sideline and said, that was for Frank. That was for Frank. He's over there screaming, that was for Frank. You fired his dog. You know what I'm saying? You fired his mentor. So I'm excited to see what Frank gets to do this year, because I feel like this was a year of, for all three of them, for Scott Fitterer, for Frank Wright, I feel like this was like, Scott was like, that fool wouldn't let me get a quarterback. And I feel like Frank came in, was like, I had a quarterback, I lost him, and they wouldn't let me get another one. So I feel like they both, so I feel like they both came here and was like, hey, no, to hell with that, bro. If we are going to lose, let us go get our guy. Which then brings us to the DJ Moore trade. The trade of getting fleeced. It's, we had to pay the price to move up, because if you don't have your quarterback, none of it would matter. So you go up to one, you take your quarterback, Bryce Young, and now you're set and ready to go. The roster hasn't, minus DJ Moore, the roster actually to me has pretty much gotten better in every other area. I would like to say, minus the receiver room, losing DJ. DJ's dope, top 20 wide receiver. I think he's worth what we gave up, but I think if at the end of the day, Bryce turns into what I think he will be, we'll definitely be all right in what we're looking for towards the future. So I know I got long-winded there. What are your thoughts on the Carolina Panthers moves this offseason?
Hey, man, I ain't got a lot of thoughts. I'm just gonna leave this in your hood, bro. This your runway. All I gotta say is I was extremely happy to be there for the moment in that draft, to watch you and Deuce react to picking Bryce Young. I know there was a whole lot of false reports like, oh my gosh, they might take CJ Stroud. They might take Will Levis. And I ain't gonna lie, for about 30 seconds, I was a little bit fearful for my life. I was like, bro, they gonna swing at the people they know, and I'm right here.
Yeah.
I hope they don't pick Will Levis, but hey, man, it's yours.
Going through that process, I do believe CJ did have the runway to be number one. I really do. I do think there was a moment in time where they was like, you know what? We love everything about CJ. And this is like, seeing the struggle between Bryce and CJ is like seeing the struggle that people may deal with later with other quarterbacks down the line. It's like, y'all, you can only pick one of them. And even if you have the number one pick, you can only pick one of them. So there is a bittersweet part of me that's like, dang, I wish we could have got CJ, because he's a great dude. He's intelligent. And the way they try to break him down was just dumb. But man, like, if you would have told me when we traded up, a part of me said Bryce didn't throw at the pro day for a reason, but Bryce was already a made man. There was nothing Bryce could have done. Yeah. If you notice, it was everybody else closing the gap on Bryce. Oh, AR's athleticism might be more than what we know from Bryce here. Or CJ's accuracy might be better than we thought. It was everybody trying to catch Bryce. CJ got close, and then I do believe for a moment it was there. But when I tell you, I think what really separated it was the individual visits, because all you keep hearing about is when they said they sat with Bryce and they asked for his weekly preparation, they said, yo, it was just different. They was like, bro had it minute to minute, day by day, how it's been down. And all the reports show now, all he does is he studies, and he has a detailed schedule on the things he does. So you have a guy who's really just football or not when it comes to it. So I would take that. People are going to constantly bring up the size, and I don't give a damn about none of that. And the reason why I don't give a damn about none of that is because the prototypical size guys you got all get hurt. They're going to miss time. All of these guys will eventually get hurt. tell me what you're going to do when you're healthy. And I think what Bryce is able to do while he's on the field is going to be really good. Like I believe he can hit the top 10 quarterbacks. I struggle ever thinking, be like, yo, will you ever catch Mahomes, bro, and them? I don't know if that's possible, but I think for where we're at now, it was the perfect move to make. So some key players, when I look at this, is Miles Sanders is one.
Ooh, I'm just playing. Booby's my guy. I'm just playing Miles.
Miles Sanders is one for me. And the reason why, and he wasn't one, he didn't become one to me until last week. He came out, no, he really didn't. He came out and he goes, oh, well, I felt like Philly should have used me more in the Super Bowl. And me watching the Super Bowl, I was like, bro, you fumbled your first handoff of the damn game.
You
You
wasn't
missed like
getting
2
no
holes. Yeah.
yards.
I said, bro, that was clearly probably your worst game of the year. Why would they give you the ball more? And then I was like, even giving you the ball more, Jalen and them was killing it. So, bro, you kind of just worked your way out the game plan. But Miles is definitely number one for me because I think he is going to be asked to do a little more than he was in Philly.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to be used as a 3-down back. He since his rookie year, he hasn't had like 50 catches. So I think he is going to be used more out of the backfield. So I think his solid production, I think Chuba is going to be nice this year too. He's definitely progressed from the first week I saw him then to when I'm looking at him now. But I think Miles is number one for me because I do think Bryce can find a connection with him. I think you could find him getting, not saying a lot, but I do think you could see him get to 50 catches this year, 45-ish catches. So he become number one to me, and only because, bro, we paid you. We paid you a nice little bag, nothing overwhelming. So I am expecting close to the same type of production you did last year. So that is my expectations from you. I am expecting that. Number two for me is J.C. Horn.
Mm.
I think J.C. Horn is really number one. Like he's really number one because I told you and I tell y'all, I did not want J.C. Horn, not because I didn't think he was better, but y'all, I got to keep integrity to myself. If I think somebody who was drafted after you was better than you, then I think you shouldn't have been drafted. I
Right.
said in that moment, I thought Pat Surtain was better. I thought Justin Fields would have been better. What J.C. Horn has showed me when he's on the field is elite cornerback. The damn problem is staying on the field. So I need him. Yeah, so I need him on the field. I need him on the field for every game this year because if he's not there, a lot of this becomes for nothing. A lot of the moves that were made is for nothing. We brought over Von Bell. Dope. Love him and what he can do. Jeremy Chin now gets to move everywhere because Von Bell is around. And both of them just interchange wherever they're at. Luvu snapped last year. Still expecting a great year from him next year. Brian Burns about to get his money. Burns finally had double sack seasons. I'm expecting him to have more than that next year. We're going to be missing Austin Corbett at tackle probably for like the first 4 to 6 weeks. They said they're going to play him in slowly. So I expect when preseason to start for them to put him on that whatever type of IR that keeps him out for a couple weeks. So, but saving grace, I trust the other 4 dudes. So whoever's sliding in at right guard, whether it be Cade Mays, Chandler Zavala, I expect for both of them to hold the fort. You're not as good as Austin Corbett, but I trust the other 4 guys to hold down the fort. I'm expecting Icky to take a step up. Offensively, your receiver room's trash, bro. This room is buns. This is a mid room. One of the worst receiving rooms in the NFL.
It's like he was in my
Okay,
head.
cool. Yeah. Okay, yeah. Okay, cool. Understandable. I think the misconception is people think that Adam Thielen was brought over to be the number one wide receiver. I don't think that's the case. I think he was brought over to be the veteran presence to help these younger guys out. DJ Moore is a great receiver. I don't think he's a great mentor. So I think he just the dude who comes to work for himself, make sure he shows up, and that's it. I think Thielen can help to part some wisdom into these guys and help them out. DJ Chark, big play capability. I like what I can see from him coming out. I expect him to have some really big plays this year. But TMJ is the dude who I'm like, if we come back and you're like, damn, this dude is snapping, it's because TMJ is like, I see. Let me see if I can place this right. By the end of the year, I would like to see TMJ in the conversations around the names of like Michael Pittman.
Okay.
That's kind of where that's kind of where I'm hoping when we get to the end of this year, we can say, nah, TMJ's
So that
right
that
outside.
middle tier breaking into the top
Yeah,
tier,
middle tier,
trying to find
middle
their
tier.
way. Okay, cool.
Yeah. Chenault, utility dude. You heard we watched the Atlanta game
Yeah.
together when I said stop running the damn Chenault play. I think with Frank, there's more versatility that's gonna happen with him. I hate when people use the term finding him a Debo role. I hate that term, but he does have obviously that versatility. I don't think it's no Debo type of production, but I do expect him to be a Swiss Army knife in this, lining up out the backfield and stuff. Now, 2 years from now, Jonathan Mingo should step right in and fill in for Adam Thielen, and Thielen just be there kicking and doing his thing. I'm not expecting enough from Jonathan Mingo, but bro, he intrigues me. He intrigues me a lot. But TMJ is definitely the dude who I got my eye on to be like, yo, if there's a dude who's gonna show that he's got low tier, high end wide receiver two status, is gonna be Terrence Marshall Jr. And Hayden
Okay.
Hurst. I'm only asking you to come and give me the stat you gave in Cincy. Give me 52 catches, 414 yards, and 2 TDs, and I'm satisfied because that was more production than our whole entire tight end room did last year. So if you
Combined.
yeah, combined minus the touchdowns. Tommy had 3 last year, but if you give me that as a fourth option in Cincy, if you can give me 50 and 400, that's an upgrade because I still love what I think Tommy can be. I don't know how that's gonna look this year, but Hayden, give me 50, give me 400, give me 3 or 4 TDs, and we good, baby. That's it. So, what are your thoughts? Who's key players for the Panthers, man?
I'm looking at Hayden Hurst. Hayden Hurst for number one. Just because I look at rookie quarterbacks and for some reason they just find their way around tight ends. That's kind of like their blanket. So I think Hayden Hurst and I know they have Tommy Tremble as the third string, but just that whole tight end room, just to make things a little bit more comfortable for Bryce, give him a sense of familiarity, like a go-to. Next one I got is actually Icky. Protect your mans. Simple. I really like what this O-line is turning into. I know you were high on Icky when they drafted him. I wasn't too familiar with who he was, but since you were, it kind of made me watch him a little bit more, and I like what I saw from him last season. And then lastly is Miles Sanders. I know he has a lot to say about Philly. I'm a Philly fan. Booby was our dude last year. I just want to see him go over there and do good, man. Dude, just be better than you were in Philly. You was 1,000-yard rusher for the first time in your career in Philly. If you can do that, cool, do that. If you can get more than 50 catches this year, cool, do that. I just want to see him do better than what he was doing over in Philly.
He looks fly in that number 6. Number 6 looks fly. It really makes me tempted to get his number 6 jersey. Like it really, really does. He looks fly in that number 6. I really mess with that. So speaking of Booby, let's talk about him for a second then. Last year, 259 carries, is it 1,200 yards? That's total? That can't just be rushing, is it?
Yeah, I think that was. I think he barely broke 1,000. No, that's got to be his total. His rushing yards.
I thought he had 11 rushing. No, he had 1,200 total rushing last year. 259 carries, 1,269 rushing, 4.9 average, 11 touchdowns. I
Behind
am
the
at,
best O line.
yeah, behind the best O line, weapons, offense, killer. You're not playing in that. Um, but Frank Wright is shown to always consistently have I think out of 1 year out of the 4 in Indy, he didn't have a top 10 rushing offense. And I don't, Jonathan Taylor broke out. He had Marlon Mack snapping
Mm-hmm.
for like 1,100 yards. So do you think Booby can eclipse 1,100?
I think he can. I
You
think he's
think
gonna
he
have
could
to.
keep?
I think he's gonna have to with what he got brought over there to be a 3-down back.
So this is one thing that I'm noticing. His worst yards per carry is 4.6 in his career. Do you think he goes over or under 4.6?
I think he stays about there.
So 4.6 was his rookie year. Then he had 5.3, 5.5, and last year
He falls
4.9.
forward for like 2.5.
And last year he had the 11 touchdowns. Is he a double-digit touchdown running back this year?
I don't think so. I think he'll be like at 8 or 9.
8 or 9?
Yeah,
Cool.
being a 3-down back, I think he's gonna get him there, and then Chuba Hubbard is gonna finish it off.
Cool. From rookie year, these were his targets in the receiving game: 63, 52, 34, 26. So every year his targets in the receiving game declined. Catches 50, 28, 26, 20. So his catches and his targets both went down every single year. He had 3 touchdowns his rookie year, none since. So let me see if I can find a medium here. So what I'm looking for is
30 catches.
40 catch. 40. I'm
40.
looking for 40.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm looking for 40 because I think you will be a 3-down back majority of the time. And I actually think we might see Chuba. Miles will start the game, but I think in certain situations we might see Chuba early on running the ball because Chuba got stone hands too.
Yeah.
So he got better and he surprised us with some catches, but he also sold us with some catches too. So like I think Chuba actually became I'm not gonna say he improved running the ball as the year went on. So I'll take that. So I think we could see him more early than later. Is that me?
Yeah.
Dang it. Let me turn this off then. All right. So I think we'll see Miles definitely be more the 3rd down back, but I wouldn't be shocked if Chuba started some drives off to run the ball. All right. So that moves us to getting the floor and the ceiling for these Panthers then, right?
Yep.
I will
Starting with
be taking
Atlanta's blowout.
Yeah, Atlanta blowout. I'm calling Atlanta blowout. I'm doing that already. Off rip. God, man, where'd my stuff go?
New Orleans at home.
Hold on. I had us winning.
Seattle on the road.
I know Seattle fans want that get back. And I don't want to test waters saying that we can go in there and win 2
They got
years
a
in a
hell of a
row.
wide receiver room, bro.
Yeah, yeah.
And K9 year 2.
Yeah. So I'll take the L in Seattle.
Minnesota at home.
The Adam Thielen revenge game. I want to call that the Adam Thielen revenge game. 2 TDs, 2 catches, all in the red zone. 2 TDs, 2 catches, all in the red zone. Red zone specialist. Adam Thielen, 2 catches, 2 TDs. Y'all hear it here now.
Y'all
Take Adam
starting
Thielen for 2
3-1?
touchdowns. Not, man, I don't know. So remember we talked about it. I said if we could get to the bye week at 500, that is a dub to me. Because I'm standing on we're starting 2-0.
Mm-hmm.
I'll take 1-1, but I'm standing on I would much rather believe we start 2-0 than 1-1. Getting to the bye week at 500 is like a dub.
So you beating Minnesota or no?
I gave Minnesota that one.
Detroit in Detroit.
I actually said we beat Detroit because I'm still going off the fact that they don't have Jamison Williams. And so I'm like, yeah, Jamison Williams chart that said I still leaned us.
They got Gibbs and Montgomery now.
Yeah.
Miami
Said I still lean
on the road.
Yeah, I gave Miami that dub. That's the shocker. That one's not going to change for me. I gave Miami that one.
Cool. That puts you at 500 for the bye week, and then coming out the bye week, it's the Bryce and
Three straight
CJ.
dubs. 3 straight dubs.
Damn.
3 straight dubs. Right out the bye week. Money, money, money. That's a wrap. That's not going to change. We coming out the bye week, killing Houston, killing Indy, killing Chicago.
Those
3
are
straight dubs.
extremely winnable games too. Dallas at home.
Out the bye week. Out the bye week, baby. We coming out killing. 3-0 out the bye week. Write that in chalk, baby. Or permanent marker, whatever you want to call it.
Dallas at home.
I don't like that matchup. I don't like that matchup at all.
Tennessee on the road. Mike Vrabel.
I don't like playing Mike either.
Damn. Tampa Bay. Dub. In Tampa.
I gave us a split.
Okay, so we'll go with the split. New Orleans Saints on the road. Is that also split? Or y'all sweeping them?
Yeah, I split with the Saints, split with Tampa, and
Swept Atlanta.
really we should sweep. Yeah, really we should sweep Tampa. Like
Green
Brady
Bay
was saving grace last year, bro. I got us beating Green Bay. I ain't giving Pollard no type of love around here.
Jacksonville on the road.
Man. I'm hoping Jacksonville's taking a nap by that time.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So 9 wins with Jacksonville being the L, Tampa Bay at the end being the L with the split. So that's 9 wins.
Go.
Is that your ceiling, or is that about the medium point?
I'll take 9. I will take 9. My expectations for Frank Wright and this whole staff period is you're not allowed to go under 7 games. So seven is automatically the floor for me. Is you're not allowed to go under 7. Especially after if Steve Wilkes could bring this team back from what Matt Rule left it at, you're not allowed to go no worse. 9, I'm okay with. I'm taking 9. Anything under 7, I'm pissed off. I would lie to you if I didn't say that I would want to see 10 though. But
Well,
seeing 10 to me means we have to steal one of those before the bye week.
I was just about to say, where does that 10th game come from?
So I'm Miami just seems like I told you, Miami seems like a very difficult matchup for us. So I'm giving Miami that one. I think it's more realistic for us to. I'm giving Seattle the home win. I think still in Minnesota or Detroit is one of the ones I think that'll have to be like we have to steal both of them for real.
Minnesota's
But that
the Sunday early morning game or afternoon game technically. And then Detroit is another Sunday afternoon game. I think if anything, you have a better chance of beating Detroit on the road than you do Minnesota at home.
yeah. Yeah, and that's kind of becoming my problem because like I'm looking at just looking in the wild lens, I'm looking at Brian Flores after he sees us for 4 weeks. You know what I'm saying? And he
Yeah.
kind of gets a grip of what could be. I'm not really tripping off Detroit because I still don't think run game. I think run game wise will be okay, like with what they did. And I think people have this mystic view of how Carolina was winning games at the end of last year. Like DJ Moore was getting 8, 9 catches a game and 2 TDs. He was running the football, bro. He was really
Yeah.
running the football and no turnovers.
Foreman
So
Foreman
I'm
Foreman won me my damn fantasy league because I picked him up
yeah,
late.
yeah. So I think if to become a 10-win team, we have to get to the bye week 4-2.
I also think
I
I
really
think
do.
you guys can afford 3-3 at the bye week if you find a way to sweep some of those that you gave a split to, like Tampa. I think if you find a way to sweep them, I think you find a way to sweep Atlanta. New Orleans, I don't think you sweep. I don't think you sweep them.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's I wouldn't. We got them last year, but I don't think they want to double back and do that again this year. So I'm okay with that. Said the Dallas Tennessee matchups. I just don't like how we match up with Dallas. I really don't.
I like y'all better against Tennessee than I'm surprised you didn't give yourself that win, especially with Ryan
No, no,
Tannehill
no.
being the quarterback over there.
Yeah, yeah. I did give us Tennessee originally. I was like, yeah, I'll take us against Tennessee. But like the dubs that I'm giving us here is we become one hell of a hot team after the bye week. That's kind of where I'm sitting at. Is after the bye week we low key become one of the better win percentage teams in the NFL,
So you're gonna be
and I
four
don't
and
like.
one. I think you're gonna be 4-1 out the bye week in your first 5 games, and the only loss
That's
will
a
be to
fit.
Dallas.
Yeah. So that's where I'm at. And you said, and I'm leaning towards the sweep of the Bucks and the Falcons in the split with New Orleans. So
Cool. Let me
final
ask
thoughts.
you. Let me ask you the question. Final thoughts about your Panthers. Final thoughts about the Carolina Panthers.
Bryce Young has to win Rookie of the Year.
Damn.
Bryce Young has to win Rookie of the Year. Bryce Young will be the Week 1 starter. I think I expect us to run a. Let me pull this up. I'm now pull it up. Look at the stats from Frank Wright's first year after Andrew Luck when Jacoby Brissett was the quarterback. That's the kind of offensive year that I am expecting from this offense this year. I think that was a 2019 season.
All right. 2019. Jacoby Brissett, 29, 42, 29 and a half, pretty much. 18 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, played 15 games. Marlon Mack
Yep.
went
Marlon
for
Mack,
1,000, almost 1,100, 8
9 TD.
touchdowns.
So if I told you next year Miles Sanders had 247 carries, 1,091 yards, 4.4 average, 9 TDs.
Yeah.
If I told you at the end of the year next year, Bryce Young had 2,900 yards, 18 TDs, and I'll take we'll go 22 TDs. I'll take the whole quarterback room's productions. 3,300 yards, 22 TDs, 10 picks.
It's a little underwhelming. I don't think that's MVP, rookie of the year, but I think it's a good season.
The receiving room, the leading receiver had 607 yards.
Zach
Pascal,
Pascal,
Ty,
T.Y.
500
was over
yards.
there.
But look at the touchdown distribution: 5, 5, 4, 3.
Yeah, spread that rock around.
This
Ebron,
this is
Doyle.
what I this is the offense that I'm look at. You say Hayden Hurst, look at Eric Ebron.
Yep.
31 catches, 52 targets, 375 yards, 3 TDs. So when I tell you my offensive expectations for Carolina, it's this team. And why
Okay.
is it this team? Well, because obviously the Frank Reich connection is the year after Andrew Luck. You're just trying to pick ship and put it together. So this is really a base of what I think this offense could look like.
See, 2020 the next year with Phillip Rivers. That's when the offense
Philip
went
Snap.
crazy. Yeah, they went
Philip Snap.
crazy.
Yeah, Philip Snap. Philip Snap, bro. I ain't trying to. Hey, you give me a
It
Philip
went
Rivers year,
crazy.
boy. Look, Philip Snap, bro.
It was
That's
actually one
too
of his
high.
better years taking care of the ball too. Usually he's up there
But
in
then go look at
interceptions.
Carson. Go look at Carson. Go look at this is
2021.
all Frank. This is 2021, 3,500, 27 touchdowns, 7 picks.
Carson Wentz had a hell of a year too.
A hell of a year. You know
35,
what I'm saying?
60, 27 touchdowns, 7 interceptions.
He just soiled it the last 2 games. The people were so damn mad that they missed the playoffs.
1,800
And
yard
Jonathan,
rushing from Jonathan Taylor, damn near 2K. 18 touchdowns, bro.
I'm not expecting Miles Sanders to do that. I'm expecting Miles Sanders to do more than Mac at minimum. Look at Michael Pittman.
2022.
88 targets, 129. 88 catches, 129 targets, 1,000 yards, 6 TDs.
Yeah, last year he went 99 receptions, 141 targets,
And this is all
920
just
yards.
looking within what I've seen Frank work with 4 different quarterbacks and the production that's coming all around.
Yeah, I
And I
think
said, which
this is a
one?
perfect comparison, especially with the wide receiver room being Michael Pittman, Paris Campbell, Alec Pierce. Like, you don't look at those guys and say, "Damn, y'all have a great wide
Oh,
receiver room."
no. So my comfort in where I stand right now, and you still got to put it on the field in production. My comfort is that Frank gets production and Thomas Brown being the offensive coordinator coming from under Sean McVay. Pause. That's what she said. Thomas Brown becoming our offensive coordinator and Frank Wright's production of what he's done with all these different quarterbacks is kind of where I'm like, okay, if I was to find a year of what I think we should expect, it's a Jacoby Brissett year.
Yeah, yeah.
So, and that's to the running backs. He said if we came back at the end of the year and Miles Sanders had right under 1,100 yards and 9 TDs on a 4.4 average, I would take that. 4.6 is his career worst, but I would take 4.4 next year. If you told me that we had 2 receivers with 5 touchdowns and 2 tight ends, Jack Doyle, Eric Ebron with 4 and 3, I would take that. Because that, like you said, next year you said King Phillip, right?
Mm-hmm.
Next year would be the year I'd be like, oh yeah, this is the year Bryce is supposed to kill him.
This is when we get down.
Yeah, this is truly who's at expectations for what I expect the Carolina Panthers offense to be on a production level.
Cool. I'm with that. I am
All
okay
right.
with that.
So I had floor 7, ceiling 10 wins for the Carolina Panthers.
Yep. That's where we got it right now.
All right. Now, get out of my hat and my chinchilla here in a second. We are on to the final team, division winners at 8 and 9, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. No Tom Brady, no Byron Leftwich. Todd Bowles is still standing there just looking like this.
No Leonard Fournette.
Yeah, no Leonard Fournette. Oos, what are your thoughts on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? Get out of my chinchilla.
Man, they gonna be real bad next year. Outside of their defense saving them, I don't even think they'll save them a couple games. I think they'll save them a couple drives, a couple real big defensive series just to go back on the other side and Baker Mayfield to soil it. I don't know, man. Outside of Baker Mayfield, this team could be amazing. They could be really good. I mean, let's be real. Tom Brady had a real decent year his last 2 years, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But with Byron Leftwich there and that coaching staff last year, I think you could have put, I don't want to say any quarterback, but I think you could have put a couple of other quarterbacks in there to have some similar numbers and a similar performance. The only thing that's holding this team back is Baker Mayfield. That defense still is what it is. Vita Vea being the anchor over there. You still got Devin White. You still got Levante Davis. You still got Shaq Barrett. You still got Jamel Dean in the back. Like your secondary, your whole defense is still there. You know what I mean?
This is the thing. This is when we say the coaching, the quarterback, and the coordinators matter, because a lot of these guys were almost in place too when Tom came.
Yeah.
Tom came, they snapped off, and then a lot of these guys are still here. Devin White wants his bread now, and then you insert Baker Mayfield. This is where we say like it's the importance of quarterback and coach. And I think like Kellen Moore, I think Byron Leftwich got the boot and probably shouldn't have.
Yep.
Like you said, this I think it's you look at it and you go, damn, Tampa Bay is going to be bad next year. But it's like we talk like you said it perfectly. But they got a lot of their pieces there. The defense still really good. Todd Bowles handles that side of the ball. You still got Evans, Godwin, Worse. I know they had some injuries on the O-line last year. You are missing Fournette. I don't know how much I am going to expect of Rashad White and Chase Edmonds to fill that role. I think Fournette provided something. You drafted the next Aaron Donald comparisons, Kalijah Cansey. You still got Big Dog Vita Vea over there. Joe Tyron, somebody who I got an eye on. I hate the guy. I think he's got like the sneaky dopeness about him that might become irritant over there in that defense, man. Dude has a lot of promise, and I kind of really don't like the fact that I think he might really break out this year on another level. But outside of that, I mean, Carlton Davis, Winfield, Neal, Dean, secondary. Like, you're right. I'm right on page with you. So what? 8-9 last year. You wasn't a 500 team. You took the boot in the playoffs, and Brady got the hell up out of there. What really does it, or what really is the expectation for Tampa Bay?
I think they go from first to worst, sadly. I think they go from first to worst. And I don't even think it's first to worst by a lot of games. I think it's first to worst by like a game or two. I mean, right now we got one of the teams' floor their ceilings is what, 7 games, 8 games? I think they're gonna be right along there.
All right. I'm sick of talking about Baker Mayfield. I'm sick of having to talk about him. Never seen a number 1 pick be given so much grace, and he has never had elite seasons.
He's never had the word bust ever whispered in his direction. Not one time.
In one time. I am. So Devin White, they say, is holding out for money, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which I would too. Like I would too. I would try to get my bread too. Over or under? Let's look at their schedule real quick.
We'll get right into the schedule. We got to pull it up.
No. I just had to look at something because I didn't know exactly. So they have a week 5 bye week. In the first 4 games, they play Minnesota, Chicago, New Orleans, Philadelphia. And the reason, so the reason why I jumped to the schedule is because I'm trying to pinpoint when Baker Mayfield won't be the quarterback.
Damn.
That's what I'm trying to pinpoint. This is a team that just won a Super Bowl not too long ago, dominated, had great things, great times. You even the year y'all won the Super Bowl, you started off slow, got better as the year went on, skipped by your knees, and you dominated the most important game of the year. You got your ring. Then after that, you were still kind of a teetering team. Some days by the saving grace of an elite defense, some days by the saving grace of Tom Brady. There is no Tom Brady. We're past that point now. So, like, I know it's very easy to say it, and I want to believe it with you that Tampa Bay is going to be horrible. because I really do want to believe that Tampa Bay is going to be horrible because I don't think Todd Bowles is elevating this roster
Yeah,
with his coaching. I think Baker Mayfield holds back your roster.
100%.
So I'm just yeah, but like I really genuinely do have a lot of respect for the guys on this roster that I
I,
feel like it's almost
I do. I agree with that, right? Like I don't say they're gonna go from first to worst in a dramatic way. I think they're gonna quietly
yeah,
suck. They're gonna quietly suck. They're gonna be one of those teams where it's like when you look up, you're like, damn, Tampa really only got 5 wins halfway through the season.
yeah,
4 wins. Damn. That defense is playing a great job. Like I think we're gonna
yeah,
look at this team very, very similar to the way we looked at the Detroit Lions a couple years ago. They had a whole lot of one-score losses.
yeah,
And I think we're gonna see that because of this defense. We're gonna see a lot of really close games that they ain't got no business being in because Baker Mayfield is gonna be who he is. Sadly, I think he's gonna be the quarterback for 3 quarters of the season. Until like the last couple of games when they're just like, look, bro, we can't afford to almost win any more games. We just want to lose the rest. So Kyle, we're
yeah,
gonna put you in there. We're just gonna focus on this draft pick now.
yeah. This is the funny thing about Tampa Bay as like an organization. So historically, they've been bad, but when they've been great, and then they finish the job.
Mm-hmm.
I think Tampa Bay has the least division titles, but has the most Super Bowls in the NFC South. They got two. The Saints got two. No, they got two. The Saints got one. Carolina and Atlanta have zero. But I think Tampa Bay has won the division the least. But when they win it, they make their move and they go get it. It would not shock me if this also became a sell team after this season, because of that fact. Because you do got people like Mike Evans. Well, Godwin just got his paper, but you do got people like Evans. I think Evans is a Tampa Bayer for life, though. I think he's chilling. So let me not even put. I think all of these dudes minus Evan White gives me Tampa Bay for life vibes.
Yeah,
You know
Vita
what I'm saying?
Vea.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Vontae
All
David,
right.
Shaq Barrett, these guys ain't going nowhere.
Baker Mayfield doesn't get a key player for me because I know what he does. So what saves this team to be like, okay, this team can find its saving grace and not drop off and win the division?
Regardless
You
of
think
who,
this team? Do you think this team even has aspirations to win the division?
no, hell no, not at all.
Okay, then I shouldn't even have asked that question then.
I
Because if you don't
think
think that they're in it to win the division, then I don't think that it's even like a case to even ask.
no, I don't. But I do think that they are gonna have some players continue to stand out. Mike Evans is gonna still find a way to get his consistent 1,000 yards. Don't know how the hell he's gonna do it, but regardless of who's throwing to him, he's going to find a way to get 1,000 yards because that's just what Mike Evans does, right?
Okay.
The last 2 years, 3 years, he had Tom Brady throwing to him. We don't even want to talk about the years before Brady got there. He still was getting 1,000 yards. I think he's still gonna figure that out. Um, Everything else for me goes on the defense. Outside of Mike Evans doing what he's gonna do, everyone on the other side of the ball, Vita Vea, Kalijah Cansey, Levante David, Devin White, Shaq Barrett, Jamel Dean, all those guys. That whole defense is going to be the highlight of this team. And like I said, we're gonna look at this team very, very similar to the way we looked at the Detroit Lions, except we looked at Detroit for what they were doing on the offensive side of things, and they couldn't stop anybody. Tampa's going to be in a lot of these games because of their defense, but they're just going to find a way to lose it because they still have Baker Mayfield.
All right. So my three people, Cody Mott, he was just drafted this year. He was the dude who had the meme around about him. I know they did have a little protection issues due to health and stuff, and I think I don't know about Ryan Jensen, about his health. Let's see how he fits into the line. Rashad White, uh, you're you might get played, brother. As you might get played because you might have a heavy load on what you're supposed to do and what you're expected. Your talent shows that it can be there, but it's different when you got a dude like Fournette with you, and then when you got him without you. You know what I'm saying? Without his support. So let's see what you're able to do. You might be in that position where you can have a good production number wise year. So let's see if you stay healthy. And Joe Tyron, man, got an eye on him because I don't want him to do good. But then I also got a little salt for Kalijah Cansey because he wanted to throw some shade at my guy Bryce. Like, come on, bro. You ain't even got your jersey yet. So so we'll see. So Tyron, Cody Mauch, I think that's how you pronounce his last name, and Rashad White are three guys I'll have my eye on for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers this year.
Cool.
All right, let's get a floor. Any other questions about the roster going on, man?
Nope, but New England's just starting their downfall. Cornerback Jack Jones was arrested Friday after 2 firearms were found in his luggage at the Boston airport.
Oh, wow. I thought you were about to tell me. Well, you said downfall, and I was like, oh, they couldn't have signed D-Hop. All right, Jack Jones, we just try to give you some love. The Jones crew, that whole cornerback room.
We just
All
tried
right.
to.
Yeah, it's cool. Bill's going to find somebody in like a grocery store and fill your spot in. All right, let's get a floor and a ceiling for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, man. Week 1 at Minnesota.
L.
Week
Week 2 in
2
Chicago.
at home versus Chicago. No, that's
Dub.
home. You give him a dub on Chicago?
Yes.
Okay, we'll take that. So 1-1, 1-2, 1-3 at the bye week.
Yep.
Only win being at home versus Chicago. You
Detroit.
come out the bye week, 2 games at home. I'm going to take Detroit, but I got them beating Atlanta.
Okay. Buffalo.
Lose at Buffalo. Lose at Buffalo.
Houston.
We haven't given Houston turned into Frisco. We haven't given them no wins.
It's fine. I think they beat Houston too, strictly off that defense.
Cool. Tennessee.
Loss.
Frisco at the Colts. Dub.
At the Colts, week 12. Is Jeff Saturday still their coach?
No. Shane Steichen.
I'm about to say. Oh yeah, that's right. It's Shane Steichen. Yeah, you're right. Go Philly. I think that's an L.
That could be an Anthony Richardson versus Kyle Trask game.
Yeah, that's an L. Carolina. L. Atlanta. In Atlanta.
L.
Green Bay. In Green Bay.
L.
Jacksonville. At home. L. New Orleans in this point of the season. L. Carolina at the end of the season. L. They have 3 wins currently.
Ah, dog.
They have 3 wins currently. Three I think is gonna be the floor. The ceiling to me will maybe be 6.
I'll take it.
6 and 11.
I'll take it. Final thoughts on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
They might gonna be 4 wins at the end of the season, but they gonna do it quietly. Ain't nobody gonna say nothing about Caleb, none of that. Because they're gonna get to the end of the season, they're gonna be around that number 1, number 2 pick conversation. Ain't nobody gonna whisper none of it until the season is actually over.
You know,
from first to worst, man. 9 wins to damn near 3-4.
If you told me I'm 2 years removed from the Super Bowl and my team is the worst in the division, I wouldn't trip either. You know what I'm saying?
You know what I'm saying?
Like it said, but that's what I said. When Tampa has their window, they've shown to just do the right thing to win it and to make sure that they get the ring out.
Yep.
And that's what that's at the end of the day, that's what you're supposed to do is when you have it, take advantage of it, you get it, and because that window is small and few.
They don't give a damn about sustaining anything. They say, hey, we got the Lombardi. We don't give a damn. Let's go sign Baker Mayfield, y'all.
Yeah, so they're cool. They're cool. All right, man. NFC South as a whole. Say that 3 times fast. NFC South as a whole. Rank the NFC South head coaches. Arthur Smith for Atlanta, Frank Reich for Carolina, Dennis Allen for the Saints, and Todd Bowles for the Bucks. Rank the NFC South head coaches.
Give me the Saints 1.
Allen 1.
Panthers 2.
Reich 2.
Atlanta 3. Bucks 4.
Ooh.
Sorry, Todd.
I'm going Flavor Frank 1, Dennis Allen 2, Todd Bowles. No, Flavor Frank 1, Todd Bowles 2, Dennis Allen 3, Arthur Smith 4. I hate Arthur Smith. I hate Arthur
He
Smith.
got money. He got money against Atlanta this year, yo.
Yeah, I hate Arthur Smith. He just kind of he really irritated me this year. He really irritated me this year. Yeah. Rank the NFC South quarterbacks to start the year at this current moment.
Derek Carr #1. I ain't never gonna say that ever again. Not gonna say that. Derek Carr, Bryce Young, Desmond Ritter, Baker Mayfield.
Desmond Ritter, Baker Mayfield. Rank the NFC South running backs.
Ooh. This is assuming Alvin Kamara's still there, right?
Alvin.
Alvin Kamara, Boobie Miles. Wait a minute. Let me back up. Let me back up.
Rank the
Let
NFC
me back
South running
up.
backs.
Let me back up. Bijan #1. Alvin Kamara,
Bijan,
Miles Sanders, then whoever the hell's running the ball in Tampa. My bad, y'all. I know the Atlanta fans were like, I'm done watching this stuff right now.
Yeah. No. F them. F them. Play Little John. What you gonna do? All right. Rank the NFC South wide receivers. Give me your top 5 wide receivers in the NFC South.
Mike Evans. Damn.
So I think currently right now, which is crazy to say, Evans and Godwin will be 1 and 2. And then
Oh.
three will be Olave.
Olave, yep. I had him maybe teetering 2 or 3 between Godwin.
3 will be Olave.
4 is probably. Damn.
4 is Thielen.
Thielen, yeah.
And I have a question mark
4 is
on Michael
Thielen.
Thomas, and I'm not trying to put him there. 4 is Thielen.
I can't put Thomas anywhere until I see him play more than 2 games.
That's what I'm saying. So, like, 4 is Thielen. And for anybody who's willing to come up here and throw that Thielen trash, bro, 90% of y'all teams don't have a receiver that has more production than Thielen over the last 5 years, y'all. So, but
Facts.
y'all be just say you're racist and you want the old white receiver to be an old white receiver. All right, y'all. So cool. So Thielen will be 4.
Hey, 5 is Mac Hollins.
Ah, damn. I was gonna give 5 to Drake London.
Nope.
I was gonna give 5 to Drake London.
Nope. Mac Hollins.
Yeah.
You know why?
All right.
Because as the number 3 receiver in what you call it in Las Vegas, he still had 57 catches, 690 yards, 4 touchdowns. Drake London last year, 72 catches, 800 yards, 4 touchdowns. Mac Hollins just missing the yards and the
I mean,
receptions.
I'm gonna put Drake 5. I'm gonna still give him a little leeway in there. All right. Rank the NFC South tight ends.
Ooh. Damn. Can I rank their tight ends? Kyle Pitts probably 1.
I'm still
Hey,
giving Kyle
nope.
1.
Hayden Hurst 1. Kyle 2. Nah, Kyle 1. Hayden Hurst 2. I mean, Juwan Johnson probably
Juwan
3.
Johnson is 3 for me, yeah.
Juwan Johnson 3, and then your guys' second string tight end 4.
Give
Tampa
K
Bay,
Dot no love.
Tampa Bay don't get no love.
K Dot pissed me off last year. Rank the NFC South defenses.
Ooh.
Atlanta's last.
I'm gonna go Carolina.
Atlanta's last.
Carolina, New Orleans. Nah, Carolina, Tampa, New Orleans, Atlanta.
I think I'm gonna go with you.
I'm going off of who's been together longer and what I know I'm gonna get, as opposed to what I think I'm gonna get.
I'm going Carolina, New Orleans, Tampa, and then Atlanta. If JC Horn doesn't play, then we'll be third.
Yeah.
If JC Horn doesn't play, then we'll be third. And that's gonna be the problem. Oh man. We're going to rank. This is funny. It's a 2-man battle, baby. Rank the I don't want to be disrespectful to Young Ho Koo, man. Young Ho Koo, the #1 kicker in the division. Followed by my man ADP. You know what I'm saying? All right. So, according to what we talked about today, Tampa Bay is the dark horse of the division,
Mm,
or is the Saints the
nah, I don't
dark horse
even.
of
I
the?
think the
Okay,
Saints
okay,
are.
okay, okay, okay. So let me just try to restate some stuff and see if we can figure this out. The lowest floor in the division is the Tampa Bay Bucks, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the highest ceiling is New Orleans.
I think the highest ceiling is Carolina.
We said when we talked about it that New Orleans has a lot of 50-50 games that can lead them to an 11-12 win team.
They do. We currently have them as a 10-11 potential. But then if we look at if we're looking at the Panthers, we gave them a 9-8 ceiling. So their ceiling is not far from the Saints, right? But I think their 50-50 games in Carolina are a lot more reasonable than the New Orleans ones are.
All right, so Tampa has the lowest floor. So Carolina has the highest ceiling. So I think, is Atlanta a dark horse in the division?
Yeah,
Because I
I
don't.
would
So
say
like
so.
consensus. So consensus around, if you're not a Chicago Bears fan who's trying to force Carolina to be the worst team in the NFL, uh, a lot of people are leaning the Saints to win the division. They have the best odds to win it, then Atlanta, then Carolina, from what I've seen. So if Tampa has the lowest floor, say Carolina has the highest ceiling. Let me see how I could word this right. Give me your standings at the end of the year.
Carolina, New Orleans, Atlanta, Tampa.
Atlanta, Tampa. That's the exact same order that I have.
Yep. Because I do not trust. I still don't trust Derek Carr.
All right.
I'd much
Yeah.
rather go and deal with the what if of Bryce Young as a rookie than I would with the what is that is Derek Carr.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. All right. To end off the show, we started it last time. We'll do it again today as we get ready to wrap up the NFC South. Name me your favorite Atlanta Falcon player.
That's easy. It's the reason I'm an Eagles fan. It's Michael Vick.
Julio Jones for me. Julio Jones is my favorite. Julio's so fire, bro. Julio's so dope. So Julio Jones is my favorite Atlanta Falcons player. Favorite Carolina Panther.
Oh, Luke Kuechly.
Luke.
I mean,
All
Julius
right.
Peppers is probably the easy answer. Steve Smith is also the easy answer, but Luke Kuechly, man, Luke Kuechly is, yeah. Meeting you and Deuce 3-4 years ago made me watch more of Luke Kuechly film, and man, dog.
Yeah. Steve is my favorite. Steve Smith is my favorite. Peppers, Luke, Cam, Thomas Davis. That's like my Mount Rushmore of for them. Favorite New Orleans Saint.
Um, Jameis Winston. No, I'm just playing.
I,
Favorite New
I love
Orleans
Drew.
Saint.
Yeah, I love Drew Brees over there, man. But when I hate a player so much that I'm happy he leaves, you earn my respect. But then also Darren Sharper, the hardest hitting safeties in the league. Of that video. Yeah, Darren Sharper.
Drew Brees, yeah, and
I
then Joe Horn.
Joe Horn.
Joe Horn.
New Orleans Reggie was fired too, man. New Orleans Reggie Bush,
He
man.
was
That
cold.
was
He was cold.
yeah. Favorite Tampa Bay Buccaneer
Ooh, favorite Tampa Bay Buck. Warren
for
Sapp.
me, Rondé Barber.
Oh,
No doubt.
MVP. Didn't he win an MVP
I,
of the Super Bowl?
I think so. I thought Derek Brooks. Was it him or Derek Brooks? One of them. I think they called MVP or something. I can't remember. Yeah, Rondé Barber. That whole little squad, but yeah, Rondé Barber's dope, man.
Yeah, I'm gonna
And
go
John.
Warren Sapp. Mike
All
Allstott
right,
was a dog too. I really liked Mike Allstott.
let's go. Go. They will be wearing their creamsicle jerseys this year against the Detroit Lions.
The
I
orange
believe
ones.
that. Yeah, they'll be wearing the orange creamsicle jerseys against Detroit. So I think it's one of the top tier jerseys in the league for our team's alternative. So that's gonna be dope. So I'm ready for that. All right, man. Thank y'all for watching. If you kicked it with us, coming to enjoy it. in our hood in TTE and in my hood in the NFL world in the NFC South. I'm Vita Van Pelt. That's soy sauce. If you rocked with us this long, we appreciate y'all, man. Do the YouTube thing if you haven't already. Drop a like, drop a sub. All comments are welcome as long as you're not talking about nobody's mama. Say your piece, go on about your day. All right, y'all. This is the end of the NFC South. The next time you see us, we'll be heading to the AFC South. We got to talk Bryce this time, and next week we'll get to talk everything AFC South and the promised Prince Trevor and all of that, y'all. So thank y'all for watching. TTSPN, y'all. We out, man.